Hey everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today for our Build Anything with Mappedin SDK webinar. We have a packed agenda for you folks today, so let's go ahead and dive in. First off, let's do some intros. My name is Kim and I'll be your host for today. I'm a senior developer evangelist here at Mappedin and I help bridge the gap between the developer community and our internal teams. Also joining us today will be Jere Suikkila, and he'll be the star of the show, walking you through some awesome live demos. Jere runs our integrations team and helps all our customers and clients be successful with Mapton technologies. Let's take a look at what we'll cover today. We'll start with some mapping, how a map can serve multiple use cases, then a quick overview for Mapton, our SDK, and its features. After that, Jere will take the stage and run through some live mapping and SDK demos. And finally, we'll wrap up with some key resources and, of course, address your questions. But before we dive in, a quick housekeeping note. We do have a Q&A panel that is open throughout the webinar, so feel free to drop your questions as we go along. We'll be collecting them and address them when we can during or at the end of the session. Map making is faster than ever, thanks to advanced AI tooling that handles the heavy lifting of digitizing your floor plans. What used to take days or even weeks can now be done in minutes. You'll see that magic in action shortly, but if you haven't already, feel free to sign up at mappedin.com. It's super quick and easy. There's even a demo map waiting for you, so you can jump in and follow along. Now that map making is fast and intuitive, no longer the tedious task that it once was, it opens the door to so much more. A wide range of industries can benefit from having accurate digital indoor maps. So you could think public safety, asset tracking, intelligent workplace solutions. A lot of these organizations, as you may know, are probably using PNGs of floor plans and are probably outdated. So with dynamic, up-to-date digital maps, everything changes. For example, take airports or malls. These maps often start with a single goal in mind, which is consumer wayfinding, helping people find their gates or their stores. But the real value comes when that same map is used for more than just navigation. That one map can power multiple use cases. So, for example, an airport, it can support first responders in emergencies, help luggage handlers with routing, or streamline food deliveries inside the terminals. It's not just about getting from point A to B, but also enabling every part of the operation to run faster and smoother. Diving into the Mapton platform. Of course, it all starts with the foundation of digital map data. This leap in map-making technology is something we want to share with anyone and everyone looking to build on top of indoor maps. So, if you don't know, Mapton's been building wayfinding solutions for years in malls, airports, stadiums, and more. But we know the value wasn't just in the maps themselves, it's in what you can build on top of them. That's why we built powerful developer tools and SDKs, the same ones that I and my team use ourselves to help you integrate mapping into your own apps, systems, and workflows. When it comes to venue experiences, we also offer our own solutions too, things like mobile wayfinding, directories, and operational tools. Fun fact, 30% of malls worldwide is using Mapton today, and we also power every single MLB stadium and also the Super Bowl for the last 3 years. The goal is simple. We built world-class mapping capabilities, and we're opening them up so anyone can build world-class solutions in any industry. Let's take a look into the world's best indoor mapping SDK. At the heart of our SDK is a unique combination of 3 best-in-class technologies. We have MapLibre, an open-source mapping library that provides that rich outdoor context so you can see everything surrounding your venue. We have Mappedin, of course, our own engine, which powers high-performance indoor mapping with all the detail and accuracy that your venue needs. And with DuckGL integration and industry-leading data viz framework, you can go beyond navigation and deliver real business value. These are real buildings in the real world, so your map should reflect that. This level of integration is what really makes our SDK special. You're not just getting a map, you're getting a canvas to build solutions that can deliver real-world business value. All right, so let's take a look at what you can really do with the SDK. Firstly, our SDK is packed with rich, interactive mapping features, things like blue dot for positioning, custom camera controls, labels and markers, and dynamic routing. All the tools you need to build engaging real-time wayfinding experiences. But it doesn't stop there. You also have full control over how your map looks and behaves. Whether it's multi-floor navigation, dynamic focus, or adding custom 3D models, textures, and images, you can style your map exactly the way you want and exactly for your brand. As you can see on the right, we have the 3D models in action, so everything from indoor plants to phone booths is fully customizable. And for the teams who want to go even further, as I mentioned, we have the full deck GL integration that you can layer on top for that powerful data visualization that you could showcase. So whether you're building for function, aesthetics, or business insight, the SDK's got you covered. Alrighty, so this part is kind of a big deal. Today, we are introducing 3 major features to the SDK, the ones that are most requested from our partners and customers, and we're so excited to bring them to life. First up, multi-building maps. This makes it super easy to create rich campus-style maps, whether you're mapping a university, a hospital complex, or a corporate office park. You can now include multiple buildings within one venue that are all contextually tied together. And here's the best part. This isn't some premium add-on. It is the same cost as a single building map. So now you have no excuse not to bring all your buildings into one seamless experience. We also have a webinar next month where 2 of our mapping experts will dive deeper and show you the ropes. Next, we're introducing marker clustering. This is a powerful visualization upgrade that makes it easy to display and explore dense data on a map. Now you can show up dozens of assets, staff, or points of interest that dynamically cluster as you zoom in and out. This keeps your map clean, readable, and interactive at every level of detail. A lot of folks have asked for this one, and it's finally here. And finally, offline mode. This one is ideal for those low or no Wi-Fi environments. You can now build solutions that will work just as well offline as they do online. A perfect example would be cruise ships. So if you ever struggle to find the buffet on a ship in the middle of the ocean, we've got you covered. Offline mode also opens up great caching and performance options for partners looking to build mobile-first applications. All right, so those are the newest drops, and honestly, we're just scratching the surface of what you can do with the SDK. But enough of the slide talk, let's show you what this looks like in action. If you've been wondering what it looks like to build with Mappedin, this is your moment. Jere, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Kim, for excellent introduction of what we've been doing and what we've been up to at Mappedin for the past while. I'm really excited to show you real quick how to make a map because that's what it is. It is quick to get started. And then we're going to jump into the SDK and see how fast we can build something useful or fun with it. Both are encouraged. So I'm going to share my screen here and you should be seeing the Mappedin dashboard. So this is what you see when you log into Mappedin after creating your account. What you see here is actually the public DevRel demo maps. So these are the maps that you will have access to using our demo keys from the developer portal. So if you don't have a map ready, but you want to get started with our SDKs, you want to play around, you want to understand how things work, or you just want to trial things on a different type of venue without having to build your own map, head on over to the developer portal and you get the keys and the list of maps from there as well. So this is what you're greeted with when you sign in. You can start making a map here. You can manage your team, or in the developers tab is where you create API keys once you're ready for that. So to get started, we'll really quickly build a new map here by uploading a floor plan. We can take in raster images from JPEG, PNG to PDFs or CAD files in DXF or DWG formats. And today we're going to use PDFs. We're going to add in an office. We're going to do one floor, and it automatically detects elevation 0 for this one and names it level 1. We could drag it here for underground and automatically starts counting down from there for basement levels. For now, we'll stay above ground and go to the next step where we have to reference this map into the real world. We're to Waterloo, Ontario. That's a very familiar place for us. That's where our office is, in this building right here, but we're gonna make this building simulate what's happening here right across the street from us. So we're gonna put that down there. We could also use the satellite to make sure that it's correct size. And in this case, of course, it's not quite perfect because it is a simulated building, but it looks good enough for me. Maybe we'll turn it a little bit. So turn, rotate, scale, and put it in the right place. And we can change the address from here. Let's call it Albert Street Office. Complete the world position. The address could be used to search for things. And then here we call it Office Building 1. So now you have your floor plan here. In order to get started, I use the keyboard shortcuts. A bunch of them are available here. Once you hover on them, you'll see how to get moving really fast. So W for walls, holding shift to go around the whole perimeter. And you'll see it's already picking up some of the windows from there. Now, that's great. We got an enclosed space here. It's starting to detect things, but it feels like there's a lot of work still to do. And we don't have time for that. So let's delete what we did. Let's start from scratch using our AI mapping. Now this is the magical experience as evidenced by the wand icon here on the toolbar, because it will start detecting walls, doors, windows, the locations, so the name of those spaces that you have on your map, and the stairs and elevators. And it can do that for all the floors simultaneously. So we're going to run AI mapping, and within a few seconds to a minute, depending on the size of the venue you have, you'll get a full mapping of your venue. Now, it's 99%, right? It's not necessarily 100%. It's all about data quality in, data quality out, but we're always working on our models. So if you get a really interesting result from your AI mapping, send it over to us, and we'd be happy to look at how we can make it even faster. So here, for example, we got 3 doors in these places, or 2 here. We're going to delete them and show you real quickly how fast it is to edit and fine tune the maps to the quality that you're used to and deserve. So we're going to add walls there, and then using the guides, the red guides will help me get some straight walls here. There we go. So now we have one building on the map already, and we can go preview it from the top right corner. As you can see, it detected washrooms and automatically labels and shows them a little differently as well. And we can change the theme from here. And this is kind of the preview. What would it look like as a 3D map? So I'm going to share this map, put it live for us so that you can also have a look at what it looks like here in the chat. So you know this is real. It's happening in live, real time. And we're going to leave the map as is for now, because we're going to add another building. Like Kim said, we can do multi-building maps as well. So let's not leave it to one building. That means we'll quickly be able to navigation, multi-building floor and building selections, dynamic focus on when you're moving between buildings and starting to wanting to see inside of them. So let's add another building. Same process as before. We still have a PDF here, so we're going to do conference demo from here. Same thing. A lot of things automatically detected. And now we're going to put this in Waterloo as well. So it'll make sure that it's close to your previous venue. buildings should be related to each other. If they are not close to each other, make a new venue entirely, because what this enables is building to building navigation between the buildings using the navigation or the routes from the OpenStreetMap. So walk pathing. We'll put the building here. We can see our previous office building outline here. We can see where it has an entrance here as well. And now we're going to do the same thing really quickly for this. We're not going to start manually. We're going to run the AI mapping. Looks great. And we're going to call this event center for ourselves, right? So now we have two maps here. Oh, this is our Waterloo office here, and this is called event center building of it. So there is the multi-building generic name for your campus. A lot of offices and schools have multiple campuses, so name that campus, and then there's the name for that building. All right, we can preview again. You can now see that there's two buildings side by side. But let's take it from here and jump into put this version now live as well, where we have two maps in one. So you could already do wayfinding from one building to another in this mapped in viewer experience. This is easily embeddable on your websites if you just want to provide a wayfinding experience. But what we're here to really to do today is to take this map and put it in our SDK. So to get started with the SDK, we go to developer.mappedin.com. Under documentation, Mappedin JavaScript is the getting started guide. In the developer portal, we have guides for all the features that we have in the SDK and comprehensive API documentation on how to use individual function calls and methods and classes included in the SDK. There's also videos to get quickly started, and as well as sample code and interactive sandboxes. So we wanted to make it really, really easy for you to get started and start playing around with the SDK. So there are interactive sandboxes and code available for anything you see. And that also makes it really easy for us to get started building our demo today. So we'll open that sandbox and then we'll fork it. We don't want to mess with the one that's already there on the website. That is visible to everybody. So we'll start a new one. All right, so this is a basic, very simple example. It loads a map and shows it as a full screen map here. On the left side, we'll have our editor and our TypeScript code for that. Now, as mentioned before, there is a tab where you need to go to get your keys. And that would be, I'll show it again here. So you go back from the preview and you go back to the dashboard, and the developer tab will allow you to generate new API keys. Now, the API keys are already generated for us because it is in our public DevRel space. So we're just going to copy paste in our new map ID. There we go. So now we have SDK rendering the map that we just built. It doesn't quite do a lot yet, but I think in the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to make it do a lot more than expected. So let's get started. All right, first, I think I want to change the outdoor map style a little bit. So we're going to give it a style, and apologies. Where we get this style, of course, back to the documentation. You can see outdoor map. We have 4 styles available for you by default. And let me know if my connection is breaking there. It looked like I was freezing us just a little bit. And give it a style URL. We save, and of course we get immediate feedback then in terms of what's happening on the right side. Let's use the freshman style maybe. So you can see the difference between the styles, a little bit difference. All right. So that's one way to style the map. There's of course a lot more. This pertains only to the outdoor side of things, which we could also disable by enabled false here in case you just want to show the buildings. You also have full control over how the indoors looks like, and that's definitely something that we have guides for in our developer portal. But right now, how do we don't even know what these buildings are, and I think it's important for us to know that. So let's start by going through the map data and get by type. So get by type shows you with the type hinting here nicely what are the data types available in the Mappedin SDK. In this case, to name a building, they're floor stacks. So one floor in one building and they're stacks. So that's a stack of floors. We like pancakes here. So we get all the floor stacks, and for each floor stack, we want to check if there is no floor stack facade dot center, we're gonna return. This is to make TypeScript happy. You know, sometimes we gotta do things to make TypeScript happy here, but it is for our own benefit. But let's add markers for those things. So then we need the floor stack facades center to place our marker. And to draw that marker, we can use HTML code to write what we want here. In this case, let's put the floor stack name in there. Let's save the code and see what comes out. All right, so we already have the names. Let's style them just a little bit, just a little bit. But you can see here that this is just HTML. And by me saying just HTML, it means we're not trying to control what you put in there. That's all up to you. So you get to be as flexible, as interactive as you want with this. So quickly, background black, color white, padding 4 pixels, and got to put a border radius for design here. Let's put 8 pixels. There we go. So this is the way you can add a lot more content in there as well. All right, so now we know which buildings we're looking at, but again, doesn't really feel like an indoor map yet. We can zoom in, zoom out, we see where the buildings are. Great, but we wanna see inside. So how do we go about that? So there, as we said before, you control the camera, and here we're gonna do something called dynamic focus. What that enables the SDK to automatically do is when you're close or zoomed in to one of the buildings, it will start showing you inside of it. And this helps to reduce the visual distractions that sometimes happen on a map, but also then showcase the details when they are relevant to people. So not necessarily trying to show every floor, every inside, and every room at the same time. And this is again something that you get to control with the SDK. All right, we see inside, but as we saw before, the rooms have names, and we probably do want to see which ones are meeting rooms in order to make this really look like a map. There's a simple automatic labeling function that you can use. As you can see, it labels the washrooms with a small icon there to indicate that it's a washroom, and then rest of them as rooms. This is the fast way to do it, and this will keep it looking like your typical Mappedin map. Again, you are free to customize all of it, and style-wise, color-wise, interactivity, all is available. All right, so now we want to start maybe coloring some of the rooms, because you could do a lot of things with this data now. So let's take from the map data, let's get all the spaces. And we'll filter to the ones that start with an office, starts with office. So we're gonna grab all the offices, and for each office, we're gonna style them a little differently so that it's easy to visually see where are the offices. So we're gonna do map view dot update state. And this is one of the most powerful functions in the SDK. It allows to take in targets such as the walls. If you wanted to color the outdoor, indoor walls, you could change their heights to make this a 2D flat style. You could take the markers or doors. You could even show the doors if you change their style. So this is the function to really style and change how your map looks like, based on user input as well, or just by data that you're feeding into the SDK and I want to overlay. So in this case, we're gonna put in the space and then change only its color property. And that in this case will be, and I do have a cheat sheet here for the color. And we're already coloring the offices here blue. Those are everything that starts with an office, nothing in the event center side for offices. All right, let's quickly do the same thing here and we'll do it for meeting rooms. And we'll change the color as well for 4. So now we have meeting rooms. And of course, you can bring your own data on top of this. So let's say you know which meeting rooms are booked, which meeting rooms are not, color them based on that. And then when a user clicks on a meeting room, or maybe some of them are not clickable because they're not bookable right now, maybe they're out of order, whatever it is. So you can kind of dynamically control what the user sees and how they interact with the map. And with that, let's do one more thing. I think that we got to go a little bit extra here. So how do you then control the interactivity and things that can be done with the map? So that's the map view on function, which allows you to listen to events emitted by our map view. Click, hover, camera change. And if the camera zoom level changes, it will launch this event and you could react to different zoom levels. Let's say, excuse me. Let's say you're zoomed in, you want to show details, you're zoomed out, you don't want to show all the labels, you just want to show the markers that name the buildings. Very easy to do when reacting to the camera change. Today, we're going to look at the click event. We're going to take the event from there, and we're going to add a 3D model based on that. However, before we can do that, we need to add the library that does it, and that is Mappedin and 3D assets library. So we have a dedicated 3D asset library that you can also use in conjunction with the SDK to place models, or you can bring your own. These are GLB or GLTF models that can be placed on the SDK. Those can be created in any open source or proprietary software for 3D modeling, and then they can be converted to as well. So there are a lot of tools available to do those things. So you can put your custom 3D models on the map. Look, we've even seen amusement parks put rides on the map, and that looks pretty amazing. So today we're not going to go that far though. We're going to do map view models, and this is where we control what models are on the map. From the event, this is the click event, so you can see what's there. You can see if we clicked on a blue dot, you can see the coordinate we clicked on, if there's any floors that which floors did we click on, if we clicked on a model, or if it was a path space. There's a lot of information in the click event so that you can react to different things that users are typically doing on top of the map. In this case, we want to grab the coordinate from there, and then we need to import the kiosk model. Import kiosk from Mappedin 3D assets. So Mappedin also, of course, like Kim said, we have a long tradition in offering premium services for malls and solutions for airports. And one of those is our kiosk software hardware combination for advanced wayfinding use cases. Let's put some of those on the map, and we're actually going to put them based on a click. We'll turn them non-interactive, so we cannot click the models once they're there. We're going to make them big. We want people to see where they are on the map. The rotation as well, so these kiosks can be in different orientations on the map, but today let's just put everything in this orientation. And we have a comma missing, so let's refresh again. Let's have a look. All right, So where would we place a directory here? I think somewhere in the visitors registration, right? All right, let's put a couple of directories there that people can use for signing up and coming into your office. A little bit exaggerated there, but it's a 3D model. It's supposed to be uh, informational, not necessarily true to nature this time. All right. So now we've built an application real quick here that uses uh, the basic functionalities of the Mappedin SDK. What we did in the past 10 minutes was get started after building our own map. We styled the outdoor map just a little bit. We grabbed the floor stacks, also known as the buildings, and put their names on the map for easy recognition. We enabled the dynamic focus to look through the buildings by scrolling around and zooming in and seeing the insides. Then we labeled everything with that Mapped-in auto labeling function that takes care of washroom labels and the room labels for you. And then we looked at how easy it is to color spaces based on some attribute, in this case, just the name, but it would be just as easy for you to bring your own data and say, hey, booked meeting rooms are green, maybe red, and the free meeting rooms are green. And then finally, we looked at how to do interactivity with the Mappedin SDK, adding functionality to the click handler. And here we added a 3D model from Mappedin's 3D library. If there's anything you want to know more about in this that you just saw, the best place to get started, of course, is our Mappedin developer portal. Inside the developer portal, we have a showcase. There's a long list of examples that we built over time here, things that you can do with our SDK. As you can see, there's a lot there, but there's probably something on your mind already about something that hasn't been done. So feel free to ask us for more. Let me just show you a couple of the use cases from this showcase. So for example, you're in an office, but there is an area that is closed. You don't want to navigate anybody through these areas. You don't necessarily have to put a big red circle there, but you can with the SDK. And the routing reacts automatically based on areas that are closed off. Now, for example, at airports, when you're going and connecting between your flights, you might want to be able to show to your customers what is along your path or your route. So when your customers start walking from their first gate and walk past something that's maybe interesting, perhaps there's an offer at Manchu Walk for a free drink, you could display that information to them on the map. And of course, you can highlight the nearby amenities that are probably more relevant on the map right now while going quickly between flights. And of course, you can see how long it will take to get for the customer to reach their gate and give them that information and confidence that they'll be on time for their next flight. Right. What else can we do? So there's a lot, and here's another example. We could, for example, show real-time information of people moving about the venue, in this case, maintenance workers. Or it could be firefighters in a situation where they're fighting a fire.
I think we're lagging a little bit, Jere.
Yeah, I I closed some of the things. I had so many examples open there that I was showing and wanting to show. I got a little overexcited there.
You're good now.
Yeah. So you can see there you could add even a 3D model of a whole building, and then when you zoom in, you see just the relevant information, only the floors where people are currently in. And these are simulated firefighters inside a hotel. All right. So, as mentioned, there is a lot, and we'd love to hear from you if you have more ideas, anything you want to see with the SDK. And can it be done is one of our favorite questions to answer because we don't just answer that with yes or no. We'll answer with yes, and here's how you can do it. And the right place to ask those questions would be our developer community, which you can find from the developer portal and clicking on the community from the top bar. Thanks a lot for your time. Looking forward to hearing your questions, answering all your questions and ideas on what more can the Mappedin SDK do for you, with you, and Kim, back to you.
Cool. Thanks so much. Let me just take over the screen. Thank you, Jere. That was a super awesome demo. As he has mentioned, if you have any follow-up questions after today's session or you're diving in and want to bounce ideas, our developer community is always open. We're in there every day, so we'd love to hear from you. Again, thanks for spending time with us today. Whether you're ready to start building or just exploring what's possible, we have plenty of resources available, as Jere has mentioned, to help you take you to the next step. Now, let's open things up for Q&A. Let me go see what kind of questions we have here. We have a bunch that have trickled in. Um, this one can be answered with a showcase. So Luca has asked, does the Mapton SDK support rendering dynamic or real-time elements, such as moving people or assets on the indoor map?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll link you to a showcase that shows exactly that. So you can put markers on the map and you can move them based on input. And markers is just one way to do it. 3D models can also be moved, but I don't know. That sounds already like making a game. Feel free to do that if you want as well. But you can put markers on the map that will move around, as kind of quickly shown there while I was having too many demos open. Um, it can definitely be done. Um, link to come in chat. There we go. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Kim. All right.
Gotcha.
Hey,
All right, another one regarding mapping with duplicate names. Peter is asking, as a source location for direction, there's no distinction among locations with the same names. So, for example, if we're looking at the office map, what are the directions from the washroom to the huddle since there's multiple huddles? Does it choose the default one, or should everyone have a unique name for each location?
yeah, that's a great question. So there are different ways of searching. So if you're searching by name and finding a location like that, you get to pick exactly which one to go to. Um, but if there is something like you're going to an amenity like a washroom, it will automatically choose the nearest one. I need to share my screen just a little bit here to answer and showcase one functionality that I think will be very relevant to when you're thinking about unique names and IDs and things like that. So the room names, while storage might be the name you show to the wayfinding customer, on the backend side of things, you have the option to give it an external ID. So this won't be visible, but for example, this room could be, floor 143. So that is the technical name for the room used in many backend systems, and that uniquely identifies that space for you so that you can attach different data to it from other data sources. Uh, think of it as like a foreign key in a database structure.
Cool. 1 second, I've lost the questions. Found it. Done. All right, this one's an interesting one. Does Mapton offer a white label version of its SDK or platform that allows us to fully rebrand the experience for our clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I would talk to our sales teams about that. There's definitely options available for large customers to white label all of it. Today there is a watermark there that should be preserved unless you're an enterprise customer. When it will be then possible to remove that watermark. Branding, customization, all of that is possible through styling the map, so you can make the map look exactly like your customers want. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So for multi-building venues, Ian is asking, are multi-building venues supported in MVF export? And if so, how is each building represented in the MVF data model?
Great question. Documentation on the developer portal as well. Um, yes, all of the buildings are there separately, and you should look under the name floor stack, as we did with the SDK. And the MVF reflects that naming scheme.
Cool. Let's see. We'll take one more. All right. We'll do this one here. The firefighter details is amazing. Aaron says, are there wall types in the details, drywall versus block, for instance?
All right. There is no detailed metadata about individual walls today in our system. We'd actually love to talk to you more about that because it's not something that's impossible for us to do. It is a metadata on the wall. If that is helpful for you and your use case, we're not against adding that to our capabilities because that's how Maptin likes to work. We work closely with our partners and customers to bring in capabilities that are not there today. That's how we've been working for the past 13, 14 years, and that's how we will continue to work and innovate together with our partners and customers. Um, I'd like to take this question, asking about putting a mapped in map in Microsoft 365 Power App. That's a great question. Yes, absolutely. We actually already have a beta version of Microsoft Power BI plugin where you can bring in your mapped in map and then overlay data from your Power Apps in top of that. So you can do heat maps or any of those data visualizations that we were describing before. Developer portal, I will give you a link in chat for that as well. Now, if there are people who are interested in a lot of these analytics use cases, we're happy to have a dedicated webinar later this year focused just on that, how to use Maptin for analytics purposes. Because today what we did is kind of scratching the surface of how to display data on top of the SDK. But there's a lot of things we can do once we start combining with your data from Power BI or other analytics services.
Cool. I think we could take a few more. I think
All
we
right.
have time. Let's do this fun one. Is Mapped-in SDK available for AR experience?
Interesting question. Yes, Mapped SDK can be combined with AR experiences. And we've done so many times in the past, AR, VR, mixed reality cases as well. We don't really have a dedicated AR SDK, but we'd love to talk to you about how you want to use the indoor map data in the AR use case. There's a lot of interesting things happening in that space, and we're looking forward to working with you on that.
Amazing. Insert live. Done.
Somebody asked here if the SDK includes code to render the maps on different devices, for example, touch screens.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Everything that you just saw there can definitely work on touch screens as well. And that's how we build our kiosks and directory applications to work. If you go to a mall or an airport and you see a big touch screen that looks really, really good, that means it's mapped in. And then you can start touching it. So we build for touchscreens ourselves as well, and absolutely support that as a use case for the SDK.
Amazing. Um, let's close out with one more. Let's see. Uh, anything interesting that catches your eye, Yuri?
Wow. So there's a lot of questions. We're looking
There's a
forward to
lot.
probably follow up with you in case we know who you are asking the questions in chat. We'll follow up with you afterwards. Um, I think here's an interesting question about importing map data. Um, Wait, no, importing map data. So
Mm-hmm.
today we're mapping from um, we're mapping from the data floor plans that you see today. That's available for you from the outset. However, we are able today to build custom integrations from IMDF. If you have a set of IMDFs that you want imported, we can do that for you. So please do get in touch. We've done that for several customers. There are other data formats that we also import from that are structured data formats. We've done that for a long time. There could be structured CAT data, a lot of GeoJSON data that we work with. Because all of that is georeferenced nicely as well, it makes it quite easy. Um, so I have to answer this question as well. I could talk about this forever. As you can see, we're quite excited to bring these capabilities to you and talk to you about it. So um, can one assign an origin for a building aligned in real lat long? Yeah, latitude and longitude, all the buildings and points are georeferenced in real world, and we can surface it a little bit more in the editor so you can see which points are at what coordinate. And when you are in the editor, use your mouse second button click to see the coordinate at that point. Already it's available there. So have a and distances inside of a building from that origin. It's kind of like a measurement tool is on the roadmap already. All right, that's it. We're looking forward to talking to you more later. We'll answer these questions for now, and yeah, send us messages on the community forums or directly to our emails, wherever you have. Yeah, contact us on the email seen on the screen or through the forum on the website, and we'll get
Mhm.
back to everybody.
Amazing. And before we wrap up, here's a quick sneak peek at what's coming next. We're working on two big things, multi-floor visualization, a whole new way for you to explore the vertical spaces in your venues. You'll be able to see an entire building's floor stack in context, making navigation and spatial awareness even more intuitive. And we have our React Native SDK coming up. Super exciting. For those of you building cross-platform mobile apps, this means you'll soon be able to integrate Mapton directly into your React Native projects. These features are already in the works and can't wait to get them into your hands. The fun does not have to end here, folks. We have a webinar in 1 month for a more deeper dive on map making, so keep an eye out on your inboxes. Our next webinar is happening on June 25th at 1 p.m. EST, and it's going to be all about campus mapping. We'll cover things like what is a campus map and why, what's the difference about building multiple buildings, and how can you handle the pathing in between. Registrations will open soon, so keep an eye out on your inbox again, and we'll make sure you get an invite. That's it, folks. That's all for today. Again, thank you so much for joining. If you have more questions, you know where to find us, and see you next time. Happy mapping.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.